Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new opportunity, another day to either make money in the market or to learn from the market. Let's say that, y'all. So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth in the stock market. It's just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. So with that being said, y'all, let's get started. So the market, in my opinion, is just moving slow motion today. Let me say that, very, very slow. So we are looking at the VIX, right? And the VIX is an inside day candle. And that's going to be some areas for us to watch. This is our 4 o'clock candle. We've been moving sideways. So I marked the area of 1610 as support and 1638 as our resistance, and that's just a gathering spot, right? The VIX is under the 5 EMA and the 20 EMA on this 30-minute chart, which is interesting. So right now that 5 and 20 is resistance along with this 1610, which was the bottom here. So can the VIX, break through this resistance? It could very well do so. Let me say that. So right now it looks like we are under, trading down, meaning VIX is going down. Let's say that. So it could very well find support here at this 1587, which is the 50 EMA, or if it breaks the 1553, it has broken through the downside trigger, which gives us a target of 1374. That's a long ways down when we think about, being at the 1587 all the way down to the 1374. So to the upside, if we break through this the resistance that we mentioned and we break through the 1638, we do have trouble here at the 1673, which is 1675 is our trigger to the upside. However, which is right there at the ATR trailing stop. That's what I was saying. And at 1692 is the target for the VIX, and that's interesting because it's like right there at the ATR trailing stop. There is our target to the upside. Is it doable? It is. However, it looks like the VIX wants to go to the downside. But again, I always say trade what you see, but I'm going to show something interesting on the SPY that kind of makes me wonder, okay, what's really going on today, right? And I think we have CPI on Wednesday, but anything is possible in the market. I always say trade what you see. So this is our gathering spot for the SPY right now. It looks like it's at 517.76 as was the support, and 518.68 which was the resistance. It seems as if we're trying to break out of this gathering spot, which will be great, right? So if we break above the 520.44, then, which is our trigger to the upside, then the target is 523.87. That's something to think about considering we closed at 518.43, right? So to the downside, if the SPY decides to come back to the downside, the 517.01 is our ATR trailing stop, which we've tested that before. And if we decide to come back to the downside and break below 514.01, then our target to the downside is 512.76. So that's something to think about. Our range for the SPY today is 512.76 to 523.87. That is very interesting. So if you trade the SPY, I always say set your alerts, trade what you see, enter your trades based on having other confirmations and not just one. Again, not financial advice. So let's go to Tesla. Tesla is interesting as always, right? So Tesla at the end of the day on Friday got some news about the robo-taxi, which is interesting in my opinion. Tesla closed at 164.90 and it ran all the way up to 173.32. Very interesting, and I thought it's very strategic for it to come out at the close of the market, right after the 4 o'clock bell. Let me say that. So just my overthinking this, I believe. So again, our support at this point for Tesla is where I had marked at our gathering spot. Let me say that 170.26 was the support and 171.07 was the resistance for Tesla. It looks like we are broken out of that. Our 5 and 50 has crossed to the downside. I believe Tesla is in the news today, so that's interesting to watch. Again, sometimes good news is good news and sometimes good news is not so good news. Let me say that. I always say trade what you see. So right now, our trouble places for Tesla ahead is, looking at this 30-minute chart, we'll need to get above the 5 EMA, the 20 EMA, the 50 EMA, and above this 170.01. in order for us to continue back to the upside. And is it doable? It is. Tesla moves the way it moves. It's just how Tesla is, right? If you trade it, yeah. So in my opinion, we could very well come down to this 164.73, and that's the ATR trail and stop here on the 30-minute chart. It would not surprise me, and let me say this again, it would not surprise me if Tesla did not come back down to and retest this 160.51. It just would not. And if not today, I mean very soon, it would not surprise me at all. So if you trade Tesla, I always say trade what you see. Right now we were trading in this range here, which was the gathering spot, and it is kind of like seem like it's having some trouble to the upside. Normally it closed at 164 and we're still at the 169, which is still up. However, we're under that 170.01. So that's something to be mindful of. If you trade Tesla, be very, very careful. Trade what you see, right? AMD this is our gathering spot here. AMD broke out of the gathering spot, which the support at that time was at 169.06 to 169.94. This is our 4 o'clock candle. We gathered here and AMD decided to break to the downside, only to find support here at this ATR trail and stop at 167.82. So right now looks like that's a double bottom. We're bouncing off of that. Are we going? And one of the interesting things about AMD is I kept this on my chart just so that I can explain this. I always say price comes back to the demand zone or the demand area. This is our gathering spot from 4-5, which was Friday. AMD has come back to that area. This is the purple shaded lines. This is that area. AMD has come back to that area, found support. Now the question is it going to break through this 5 EMA and this level of resistance here, which we had marked as the gathering spot, and then this 20 EMA, and then this top resistance here? Are we going to break through those levels to go to the upside? It can, but I would say be very, very careful at those places. Again, trade what you see. Make sure you have clear confirmation. So if we break through to the upside, resistance is at 170.63 is the 50 EMA. Again, we're looking at the 30-minute chart, or the 175.64 looking at, and that's the 200 EMA. Let me get my words right? So yeah, AMD is going to be interesting today. It came back to the gathering spot or the demand zone. So did it come back here for buyers to take us, back to the upside, or are we going to break down and continue selling off, or for whatever reason? Again, trade what you see. So NVDA is another one, and NVDA, if I'm not mistaken, is an inside day candle. So I would be careful trading NVDA. If you trade it, the target, it has already broken through the inside day target to the upside. 884.81 is our inside trigger. We have broken through that. 890.66 is a little trouble. However, the target is 906.34. So to the downside, which I'm not saying that it's headed that direction, but if by chance it breaks below 859.26, then the target is 858.80. So our gathering spot for NVIDIA is here, and that was at the 879.30 being the support, 881.52 being the resistance. And as you can see, we have clearly broken out of that and created another one, and we're trending. I mean, it's moving up. We're above the 5 EMA. So we broke out of this zone above the 5 EMA, and we're going to the upside. So that's something to be mindful of if you trade NVIDIA. And Microsoft, I remember Microsoft last week being an inside week and an inside day, one of those days. So if you trade Microsoft, its inside day triggers 426.51 with a target of 428.67, and downside 418.32 with a downside target of 417.88. Those are things to be mindful of. And again, trade what you see. I say that often, trade what you see. Netflix has already broken through the inside and through the trigger and already made, reached its target for the inside day. I'm going to see how much Netflix moves. $14.48 per day. So it could very well continue climbing to the upside if you trade Netflix. I'm not seeing any downside right now based on the way that the moving averages are. However, something can come out and the whole market just tank. So if you trade Netflix, I would say be careful. The downside trigger is at 622.71 all the way down. That will give us a target of 616.58. that's something to think about. So let's see, the Qs are also inside days, and I did a video on inside day candles. If you'd like to check that out, that will, yeah, be very, very helpful to give you support and resistance or target areas. But overall, it just seems like the market is really, really different today. um, SPY is continuing to this breakout area, so it looks like the SPY could very well test that 523. But it's interesting that, you know, that 512 is still in play. So I always say trade what you see, be mindful of that. So yeah, y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I do the pre-market prep kind of to just give us a guide as to how the market is looking, you know, pre-market. However, anything could change as soon as that bell ring. I need to say that again. Anything is possible, y'all. So I hope these videos are helpful. We learn and we grow together. I hope that everyone have an awesome trading day today, or an awesome day learning the market today. Let me say that. So I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.